everyone, welcome to Boomx Beauty Beat. My name is Laura. So great to have you here. Thanks for joining me. I had this video on my mind for quite some time, and what I believe has been my entire career as a makeup artist is my ability to see, I can see in every woman their beauty. I see multiple looks. It's just kind of like a weird, I don't know, maybe like, it's just kind of always been this ability I have. I see somebody and I see them multiple ways, and that's kind of what has been one of my strengths. I am not the ultimate artist. I'm okay. I'm proficient. But what I do have for ability is I have the ability to see the beauty in each person and draw that out. Now, where am I going with this? Where I'm going with this is I have been diving into this concept of the female archetype. And what we like and don't like has so much to do with the archetype that we most identify with. And it can shift according to our mood, it can shift according to our monthly cycle, but usually there's a dominant archetype that we're kind of presenting to the world. Sometimes that archetype is who we want to be, and sometimes we are leaning on an archetype that really isn't true to ourselves or isn't true to our core. And so what I love to do is to show women that we can salt and pepper in different archetypes to help push forward the person, the human, the magical being that you are inside. And that is the gift of makeup artistry. That to me is the gift of anybody doing fashion or hair, is to enhance the person's, salt and pepper in their archetype that they're representing in that particular look. I am not doing a cosmetics line just to feed my own ego. I have obviously always dreamt of it, because many of us makeup artists do. We think, oh, what we do differently, what we do differently. The truth of the matter is, we need to do differently in cosmetics what the people want, not what the cosmetic companies want. Yes, they look out for trends, but they're not always listening to everybody telling them what they need to be doing. I am tying this together because I'm trying to give you guys a little pre-peek at what the makeup line and the cosmetics, skincare and makeup is going to represent. To me, it's about fulfilling the inner archetype that we have, or maximizing the archetype that you already are, and trying to show you that you can reflect that archetype in your makeup, hair, dress, so that you can even more get to the areas in life that you want to get to, whether it be to look more professional, whether it be to be more of an ingenue, whether it to be more of a maiden, whether it to be more of a rocker, hardcore, dangerous, bold, sexy, temptress, whatever you would like to become more of. And it might just be for a couple of hours, because you might want to, you know, romance somebody into your date night, or you might want to have a certain persona for your date night out. Then when you go to the office on Monday, you might want to be a different archetype. And then there's the mother archetype, where she wants to look welcoming and bring in that sense of, like an Oprah Winfrey, that sense of, I know you, you know me, we're on the same level, I understand you, I'm the mother. There's 7 major archetypes, and we're going to walk through them so you guys kind of have a look at it. What I would love for you guys to do is to comment below and tell me what archetype you feel you're dominating in, and what archetype would you love to salt and pepper into your life and personality so that you can get maybe more of what you want out of life. Because if you can master certain archetypes or pull forward certain archetypes, you will get different results in your life, because various types of archetypes attract different types of people. And if you're looking to attract a certain type of person or certain type of career or certain type of friend, you would want to embody more of that archetype, and you have the power to do it, even just by pulling together your makeup hair look so that you can enhance that concept. I hope this isn't sounding so way out there for you guys, but I really truly believe that these are the most ancient powers as women that we do possess, and I think we can tap into those using hair, makeup, and so forth. I want to just say a couple more things before I jump into the 7 archetypes. Within those archetypes, there's also different seduction styles, and I want to run through those as well. But what's important to me is that you guys know, whilst this makeup line is kind of going to be a focus over the next 3 months or so, well, it's always going to be a focus on my channel, there's a couple things I want to say. Number one, I really feel like there is not a product line that is for the people, that listens to the people, what they want. And so I want you to know from my heart to you that whatever I come out with, if something is not to your liking or that you would like more of, the whole point of this is for us as a collective to kind of continue the design of this line and try to hone in on what we're missing and what women are really asking for. What I like is going to be different than what you like. I guess I'm trying to be a little bit of everything to everyone. I want this to be something where you can fit in no matter what you're like. If you're a natural girl, if you're super funky, if you're, taking care of everyone, whatever type you are, I want you to feel at home here at Boomex. All ages, all sizes. Yes. So this is what I'm looking for. And as we come together as a collective as best I can, I got all kinds of little plans to make this more of a community, a collective that you can be a part of and really feel like you're part of something great. You're part of changing something important in the world. I can't do this all by myself, you guys. I have gotten so many great emails this week from ladies who want to model for the line, who are all ages, shapes, and sizes, exactly what I'm looking for. So I will post that video on this video so you can see it, that I'm doing a model call, because I want you to have a voice in this as well of, this being mine, this is just as much or more yours. I'm going to be linking where I'm pulling this information from below. Obviously, there's a lot of information on female archetypes out there, but I'm pulling from this lady. I think she's done a really wonderful job of explaining what this all is. She has a YouTube channel as well. You guys can check it out. I'll link it below. It is called Women of Power. That's the Women Love Power, I'm sorry, and I will link it. She explains the 7 female archetypes in such a great way and puts it in historical and modern perspective, which is cool. So let's just break down. She explains what an archetype is. Archetype form is the basis of all unlearned instinctive patterns of behavior. These powerful universal symbols exist in what pioneering psychologist Carl Jung Jung, referred to as a collective unconscious. A reservoir of human experience, the collective unconscious looms over the individual psyche like a shadow, quietly influencing our actions and reactions. It's beautiful writing. I love it. So what's so interesting? It says that humans are hardwired to integrate and respond to archetypal images in a way that's completely beyond their conscious control. So all of this is hitting people on a subconscious level, which is amazing. Marketing execs and Hollywood studios have long capitalized on this psychology, using it to create inspiring stories, megastars, and profitable brands. Public figures who appear larger than life often trigger deep archetypal responses. I can't read. It's hard to say. Archetypal responses within us, like Mother Teresa, the selfless archetypal mother, and Martin Luther King, the archetypal male messiah, that type of idea. So 7 feminine archetypes prevail in contemporary society: the mother, the maiden, the queen, the huntress, the sage, the mystic, and the lover. Just take a stab right now before I read them. Guess what you think you are. And let me know what you think you are down below, and then let me know what you think you are after you hear these. I'm going to go with the examples she's given here because they are such good examples. The first one she gives is the lover archetype. And the lover archetype is like Samantha from Sex and the City. And if you've not seen that show, I'm sorry, but you've got to go see that show. So somebody who is just an amazing seductress, they just have unbelievable seductive powers. So that's the lover. And, you know, sometimes we tuck away our lover deep inside and we're heavy on the mother role, and, you know, the sweatpants come out and all that kind of thing. So pulling out your inner Samantha can be very powerful. So just to align that with other myths, she's listed Aphrodite, Venus, the sirens, Inanna. There's so many, like, to go into. And basically, the lover archetype represents a woman's most primal urge to connect and to create. As the oldest female archetype, the earliest known erotic deity dates back to 30,000 BC. The lover represents a woman's erotic energy and her capacity for psychic and physical creation. Wonderful. Basically, when her energy is charged, she becomes a magnet to everyone around her. The lover archetype has nothing to do with traditional sex appeal or male authored images of pinups that may come to mind. The lover archetype represents a life force energy. On one hand, it's creative energy that compels us to mate and pass on our genes, but in a broader sense, this life force energy, whether referred to as Shakti, Chi, or anything else, compels us to channel our feelings of passion into creation, whether that creation is another human being, an intense connection, a work of art, a poem, a theory, an invention, or even the manifestation of a new reality. I think that's what we're doing with this makeup line, maybe. Let's give this a shot. It sounds thrilling to me. Okay, so naturally, there are strengths and weaknesses with every archetype. So you don't want to lean completely on one without considering others. But if you're dominant in one, these are some of the strengths and challenges. So for the lover, they are naturally magnetic. They incite arousal and passion in others, creative, independent, and pleasure-oriented. But there's also always challenges. So some of the challenges for the lover is their vanity, their lack of focus, and their fragile self-esteem. So keeping that in mind. Okay, for the next one, we're going to pick on maiden, the maiden archetype. I think the maiden is something that we actually aspire a lot towards, looking and feeling like, and a lot of times we think of that as a younger girl, young pretty girl. But what she has listed here as the maiden archetype is a dark, free-spirited, and open person. Like somebody, if you've watched Pulp Fiction, she's listed Uma Thurman as a really good example of a maiden. And that is a feminine archetype that is super I think, let me try to think of a few other maiden types. Some people that we know, we might know them as more mature women, but they still possess kind of a maiden-like quality. So it doesn't necessarily have to do with age. And to me, like, a maiden is not fully developed as far as being somebody to lean on. They're kind of like the young, beautiful runaway type, or a type of woman that is never really become independent and super strong on their own. They're kind of, you know, maybe damsel in distress, but young and wild. I think of, you know, that Drew Barrymore movie where she's got her hands screaming in the back of a convertible. Something like that would remind me of a maiden. A little bit wild, gets into trouble, bad things come her way. She has to learn some hard lessons to get through, but they have powers. She has here that the greatest strengths are empathy, creativity, and receptiveness, because they're learning and they're open and they're just bright-eyed. And then there's emotional codependency, which can happen when they first meet maybe a partner. And lack of autonomy, might be drawn to dangerous relationships. If this sounds like you, maybe we have to pull you away from your maidenness into a different archetype to get you unstuck from these lousy relationships, if that's something that you've been doing. Well, the mother archetype to me is kind of self-explanatory, but she's got listed here Carol Brady as, you know, the kind of the glue. The matriarch of the family, that's your, you know, mother type. And sometimes when we are the mother type, you can be a mother type even as a little one, because sometimes you're just thrown into that position and everybody turns to you to kind of keep the glue of the family together. Basically, sometimes we need to jump out of the mother role and access, maybe we need to access more of the maiden role, where we are a little more vulnerable and open to possibilities and, you know, open to things instead of being centered and knowing everything. Sometimes it's great to be in that mother role, but sometimes we need to go more into the lover role because we're not accessing that part of ourselves. So that's what I mean by salt and peppering in different archetypes, even though we are one. Like I said, Oprah is another one that comes to mind just off the top of my head, that we kind of all go to for, you know, she accesses Maya Angelou, as, you know, so the wise woman that has all of these great answers to life. The Queen archetype, this is sort of fabulous. Like, she had listed, I watched some of her videos too, she has listed here the First Lady Nancy Reagan. I think of somebody super regal, kind of in charge, not excusing their sort of air about them. They dive into it. If I think of the Real Housewives, I think of Kathy Hilton. And they also are always looking for, they have Lisa Vanderpump, she's also was on the Housewives. They always seem to end up with a queen of some sort. I think if you think of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, if you guys even watch that show, Nene Leakes, I guess, would be where she's non-apologetic about her attitude, her strength, her in-chargeness, and yeah, just think of the queen herself. Just a regal, powerful being. She also has Beyonce here as a queen. And so basically, for the strengths of somebody who's a queen, loyalty and leadership are two. And the challenges are with jealousy and vindictiveness. I think I forgot to tell you the mother. So the greatest strengths of the mother are nurturing, persistent, compassionate, and grounded. And the challenges are self-neglect, stubbornness, difficulty letting go of the caretaking role, and lack of boundaries. So if this is helping you see yourself, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, the next archetype is called the huntress. Sounds exciting. She has listed here Serena Williams embodies the huntress female archetype. She's athletic, she's driven, victorious. So that kind of person is the huntress. When I think of the huntress, I think of the Hunger Games. Is that wrong? You know, I think of the bow and arrow and being like, kind of like a sexy athlete. I don't know. That's my observation of what a huntress would be. Who do you think is a good huntress? Make sure you list her down below. Her greatest strengths are going to be her self-reliance, courage. She's goal-oriented, often sympathizes with women's causes, maybe does a lot of fundraising. Challenges is they can be aloof, emotionally unavailable, and potentially cruel. They're kind of like, you know, buck up, get your wimpy side away. The empathy might be lower. I bet you there's just a ton of personal trainers that relate to this archetype. So if that's you, let me know who you are below. All right, the next one, the name itself, I don't know if you would resonate with, but it's called the Sage archetype. And when you think of the Sage archetype, she has listed here scandal fictional DC fixer Olivia Pope. Embodies the strategic thinking, intellect, and worldliness of the wise woman archetype. So I see her as, you know, if she's going to be the first female president, or wears a lot of suits and is in charge, and, you know, she is your, I guess, classic corporate powerhouse. That is our Sage archetype. And if that's you, I mean, how great to have that. But you might find yourself weaker in areas that you want to cultivate. Maybe you want to cultivate more of the lover energy and be able to come home to your significant other and take off the Sage and put on the lover so that you can, you know, soften down, or maybe to put on your mother role, throw your sweats on and turn into the empathetic woman who is the mother. So being able to wear different hats is really important, and being able to access different archetypes. You might feel the most comfortable in that shoulder padded suit where you're empowered, you know your job, you know your thing, and when it comes to this other stuff, you're just like, what the heck do I do? So Sage women face the world by arming themselves with information and forming meaningful alliances. There's many female attorneys, academics, and politicians who are motivated by the Sage archetype, which encourages discipline, the pursuit of knowledge, proximity to power, and Hillary Clinton embodies that archetype closely. That's another thing just to mention, is that this archetype tends to marry well. Like, they choose men that are strong enough for them. They're not going to, you know, usually choose a man that isn't also, or isn't, they aren't that attracted to softer, weaker men. They want a man that can handle his section of power as well, and that's where they can kind of align, or that's where you get the power couples. So greatest strengths are emotional objectivity. They have a worldliness, intelligence, and they are a natural strategist. And challenges are frigidity, emotional unavailability, aloofness. They're closed off from sensuality and creative energy. So like I was saying before, that's where I feel like this movement can help, is we all can help people that are close to us stretch their archetype in different areas if they're over focused on one and maybe losing out on life in certain portions. So their weaknesses are really pervading their life, and their challenges are pervading their life, and they need to salt and pepper in some of the other attributes in order to have a more balanced existence and to feel maybe a little better rounded inside themselves. So for the next one, we'll call her the Mystic archetype, and she's used here Diane Keaton, whom I just love. as her in Annie Hall is embodying the mystic, and archetype in the Woody Allen films with the same name. So as an archetype, the mystic is a deeply introverted woman. She focuses on her inner spiritual world and most concerned with maintaining a Zen-like inner peace. While the huntress and the wise woman use their direct energy to focus on external goals, the mystic focuses her energy for inner fulfillment. She values solitude and carries a figurative hearth with her in that she's very much at home in her skin. And, so all of this yoga, meditation, centering yourself, all of that is part of that mystic energy. And we need that too in our lives. So you could start to see how incorporating little bits of all of this to make yourself better rounded can help give you a more calm or settled existence, because each one of them have certain attributes that are amazing. When we feel pulled inside ourselves, she's explaining to us here, and I think it's important to talk about this. I didn't mention the greatest strengths of the mystic. The greatest strength of the mystic is they're confident, their deep ability to concentrate. Creativity prioritizes inner peace, captivating soulful quality, and her challenges are going to be deep introversion, social isolation, and emotional fragility. Okay, so I think if you're listening to all this, pulling on my own hair, listening to all this and you're feeling different pulls in different directions, that's normal, because a lot of us have a mixture inside of us. But she goes into kind of how to access some of these others. So she explains here, any or all archetypes may exist in a woman's psyche at any given time. As we enter certain phases in our lives, for example, college, wise woman, marriage, queen, or motherhood, mother, we activate different archetypes. Every time we fall in love or feel passionate about creating a project, we activate the lover archetype. Imagine a meeting. This is kind of cute. That's why I'm reading it. Imagine a meeting where your ego is the moderator and the various archetypes that motivate you to have us all have a seat at the table. Perhaps as your dominant archetype, the voice of the nurturing mother exerts the most influence at the meeting, followed by the relationship-seeking queen, and perhaps once in a while the passion-seeking lover interjects. This is what we experience whenever we're making a decision. So that's what's so cool about it. And what I love about makeup artistry and beauty and fashion and all of that is the very clear ability to access any one of these archetypes and bring her out at any given time. So, if we want to go boho chic one day, we can do that. And the next day we might want to throw on our suit and become the other archetype. So it's cool. That's the sage. So in terms of beauty and makeup and all of that, what's interesting to me is seeing a woman pull forward as many of these different archetypes at different times as possible, so that you can wear different hats and be a different person anytime you darn well feel like it. And maybe you want to splash a little business with a little boho in your outfit. That's okay too. So I wanted to talk to you guys about this all, just to explain a couple last things. So as I'm moving towards the launch of this, and I'm meeting some of you on email, I am blown away by the beauty that I'm seeing in every single woman that is sending me their photos, sending me their videos, and wanting to participate in this, because having representation of what you are, what you look like, what you feel is so important to this line, because if you don't see yourself in this, then why would you want any of the products, or why would you want to be part of something like this? I'm really trying to create an environment that is based upon these 7 archetypes and showing those 7 in many, many, many lights with many different women, so that you can see yourself how to pull out those different archetypes when you need to, and be able to create parts of your life that might be in a deficit. So if you're the mother and you're always wearing sweatpants and you're feeling sort of lost and depressed and you lost your inner lover, you know, we can together, through the miracle of hair, makeup, and clothes, fake it till you make it and pull something out of yourself that maybe has been buried or hidden or dormant, or maybe you've never ever accessed it. So look about the people in your life, look at all of the ladies in your life, and tell me who you think, or tell yourself, I should say, who you think they are. Try to read them. Try to maybe have a little notebook and jot it down so you can see and pick up on little quirks and things that you want to master. So when we see somebody like a J-Lo and we're like, wow, I would love to be a J-Lo, or we see someone like Audrey Hepburn wanting and just in love with her way that she is, try to nail down and see what archetype is she portraying here, and how can I pull that out of my own person, out of my own life. And by explaining all this to you, what archetype am I? Comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. I don't know anymore. I try to bring out, with my looks and with everything that I do, I try to mix it up and bring you guys something different because I don't want to be boring to you. Anyway, we got about 3 to 4 weeks before I get to show you guys the products. Before that time, I'm going to be really hitting on these topics. The next time we're going to be talking about the 13 seductive archetypes. I just love what she's come up with this. I'm incorporating it in because it is a universal truth that she has very nicely outlined for us. And go check out her channel below. But that's what I'm going to be tackling the next time. So make sure you like and subscribe this video. And yeah, if we can figure ourselves out, we can adapt and make changes and benefit from the knowledge. And that's what I'm super hoping to do. And thank you guys for listening. I hope this has been interesting, and I can't wait to hear from you and see your comments below. And there's still time to subscribe to the requests that I've made for mature models, and go ahead and send me your photos. I'm also going to open up the age categories a little bit because there's other girls asking me if they can apply. I've also had, you know, transgender people send emails. I've had all kinds of people sending emails in different categories. If you would like to, and you feel strongly about what I'm doing and want to participate in this, please do so. My email again is boomxbeauties@gmail.com, and I will leave the email below. You can still submit a no face of makeup look, a natural look, glamour look, and if you're feeling strong in your creative strength at this particular moment, go ahead and do something artsy and creative. And I'm asking for a 2-minute or under video as part of your submission so I can hear you speak, because when we do feature you, there may be some speaking portions of it, and I want to feel like you're, you know, okay to go on camera and aren't going to be completely scared. Anyway, all of the requirements are on the last video. Look through that, look in the description box. Please do a full submission before submitting, so don't submit a partial submission. I've been getting some of those as well. Confuses the whole application process. So please put the full submission together and then send it to me. All right, you guys, have a wonderful day, and we're gearing up for something really, I think, super exciting. See you guys real soon. And take care of yourself. This is me, my mother's side. Take care of yourselves out there and care about you all. All right, bye for now.